Hello, welcome to another episode of Biblical Reflections. Last week we started talking about dealing with adversity, and I tried to explain to you what adversity is, and we started talking about the biblical foundation for adversity, and we started with the fall of man in the Garden of Eden as recorded in Genesis chapter 3 verse 1 to 19. So we are continuing on that journey of biblical foundation for adversity. And after the fall of man, God did something. The first one was that God pronounced a curse on the land. And that can be found in Genesis chapter 3 verse 17. So God pronounced a curse on the land and made Adam aware that he was going to go through a great deal. Then God said to Adam, because you have heeded the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Curse is the ground for your sake. Curse is the ground for your sake. So immediately Adam and Eve fell or disobeyed God. That was the beginning of adversity, and God pronounced a curse on the ground. The other thing that God did was that God pronounced labor and birth complications. So you read 3 verse 16a. This is what God said to the woman. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. So adversity of pain, when it comes to labor and birth complications, were pronounced by God. And then also God pronounced the subjection of a wife under a husband, and that is also found in chapter 3 verse 16. God said to the woman, because of this your desire shall be unto your husband. In other words, you shall be subjected to your husband. Your will shall be subjected to your husband. Your emotions shall be subjected to your husband's control or rule. Another thing we find is that after the fall of man, God pronounced extreme labor. Extreme labor. So God said to the woman, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. In pain you shall bring forth children. And we know that right from when that was pronounced by God, we know that when it comes to childbirth, we know the kind of pain that women go through right from the conception. Some women experience complications right from the onset of the pregnancy throughout antenatal. And when it comes to the birth or the labor proper, the kind of pain that they go through, some have to be induced, or the labor has to be induced before they are able to give birth. Okay, and these are adversities, these are afflictions, these are pain that human beings are subjected to. And as Christians, some of these things we are not exempted from them. But like I said at the beginning, the only thing is that God, being our God, will give us grace to be able to deal with every form of adversity that we are confronted with. So the adversity of extreme labor is also pronounced in the verse 16, and then 17a, and then 19. So let me read the verse 9. It said, in the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. In the verse 8 it said, both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. So this was God pronouncing the adversity of hard work or extreme labor for survival. Said, in the sweat of your face the ground shall bring forth thorns and thistles, and in the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. So this adversity, it will remain. It said till you return to the ground. And then the last adversity that was pronounced, which we are also confronted with as human beings, is the inevitability of death. So in Genesis 3 verse 19b, this is what God said. He said, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Dust you are, and to dust you shall return. So the adversity of inevitability of death it's also something that we have to deal with. So as Christians, sometimes we may lose wives, we may lose children, we may lose mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. These are things that sometimes as Christians we will have to deal with, and God will help us when we come face to face with these kinds of adversities. And we will continue in the next episode still on the biblical foundations for adversity. So I'm hoping that you will continue with me on this journey. God bless you for watching this episode. See you in the next one. Bye bye.